Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today to watch this video. If you're new here, welcome. What we're working on today and what we've been working on is my fantasy save file. This is the third out of 21 builds that I'm doing for Willow Creek. So that's the world that I chose to do this save file in. This lot in particular is a 30 by 40. And I knew I wanted to create some sort of a house for fairies. I looked at lots of different things, but this is sort of, I went into this without a big plan, but the build is already available for download on the gallery. I uploaded it last night, so if you like it and you want it for your game, my info is in the description box for that. And like I said, I didn't have really a plan when I went into this, but I knew I wanted to give the impression of this house sitting above a waterfall. I wanted it to be, you know, sort of like the foundation of it was built into the rocks, and that was my idea to start. So I used the waterfalls from the debug menu from Discovery University. They're just my favorite. I just love the way that they work. They look really beautiful in live mode, and I'm trying to get used to saying live mode. I don't know if you guys have heard the news, but The Sims has officially said that it is live mode, not live mode, which I kind of knew already because I've heard a lot of people say that, but I always in my head say live mode. I'm probably always going to say it, but consciously I'm trying to get used to saying live mode. But anyways, I also decided to try something new when I started this build. So if you notice off to the left hand side of the screen there, before I started building, I basically pulled out a bunch of build mode items in order to sort of create an idea of the color palette and style I was going to go for. And it actually worked out really well. It was a little bit time consuming at first when I started pulling everything out, but it actually ended up being really, really helpful. And I think that's because I often use a big combination of different doors and windows when I'm building. So it was much easier to just have them there already than to spend the time pulling them out of the menu. And then it also gave me a sort of an idea of how everything was going to look together. You know, a lot of times I'll be building and I try, oh, let me try this window, let me try this window, let me try this swatch, blah, blah, blah. And I spend so much time, and you have to stop recording so that you can, you know, play with it and see what works best. And I really like doing it this way. I can't remember for the life of me whose video I saw that I saw do this, but I did see another simmer do this. And I said, what a good idea. That would be so convenient to just have everything right there, and you really already know what you're working with. And I think I made a little more extra work for myself because I, you know, was searching on the debug menu to find some cool stuff to use for the build. And I ended up spending way too much time doing that than I needed to. And I actually ended up not even using a lot of the stuff that I pulled out. Not a lot, but a small percentage of it I ended up not using at all. But it did give me ideas for future builds when it didn't work in this scenario. So if you saw the blue wallpaper that I put on, that's from Realm of Magic, and I'm absolutely obsessed with that color. I actually used a different swatch in my Good Witch Castle. I used the white swatch, and I just thought this color was so pretty, and I've never used it before, and I love that those windows from Realm of Magic that have that blue. I don't know if I should call it blue or teal, or I don't know what the color is. But you see, this color, I like it. So you can see I sort of worked on this pathway that I was making to go up to the house. And initially what I had in my head was it was going to be several, you know, round foundation pieces with this cauldron sitting underneath it. And I wanted it to look like this really fancy, fantasy looking base to walk up to the house, and it just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. It was giving me complications with the different levels and the stairs, and it didn't look right. So I ended up switching that out and just putting a regular path for the most part. And I'm actually glad that I did that because the front of the build actually ended up being so busy, filled with stuff, that it was better to just have something a little more subtle for the walkway. The front of the build, I think, is what I spent the most time on. I mean, I even spent more time doing that than I did doing the furnishing. And furnishing usually takes me a long time. So I spent a bit of a long time, like I said, on the exterior, but every time I added to it, I just sort of felt like it needed more and it needed more and it needed more. I think that's because I'm so used to building big, and I did so much landscaping in the front that I didn't really leave myself very much room for the actual mansion. So it ended up being a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, and there's definitely plenty of room for activities for your Sims. So that's not something that I always focus on. I really focus on like the aesthetic, I guess. And on this build, I was saying to myself, well, like, what would they do? What kind of things could they have in the house? So I did take some time to make special spaces for skill building. There's a whole library area on the 3rd floor, and then on the 1st floor, there's also a separate like seating area that has an area to play chess and the computer and just different things all around the house so that your Sims can work on their skills while they're here. Because this is part of a save file, I don't want to just have useless houses in the save file. I want every build to have, good use out of. I want people to be able to play these builds and actually get some enjoyment out of them and not just look at them and say how pretty they are. So, the interior was really fun to decorate, and I was a little extra, I guess. I decided to go with lots of this white and gold and blue theme, kind of what I did on the outside with the different pillars and fencing and all that from Realm of Magic. I used tons of stuff from Realm of Magic for this build. I always use that pack. It's probably my favorite pack. I don't want to say I have a favorite, but it's probably my most used pack. So I guess you could say it's my favorite. And the items are just really magical and really beautiful. And, of course, I wish we had more stuff that was more fantasy themed, but it's pretty close to it. So it works for me, and I like to do it. So I'm really proud of myself, because I think that if I was someone that played in live mode, that I would really enjoy this house. So once I was done with the interior, I moved back to the outside to do the finishing on the landscaping, which I did cut out a bit of it. I used these floating debug flowers that came with Get to Work, and I'm absolutely obsessed with them. They're like this blue color, bluish purplish color, and it's just this group of floating flowers. And it just looks so magical. And I wish it came in different swatches, because I probably use it all the time if it came in different swatches. But I thought it would be fun to put it like around the roofing of the house, just to give it this extra magical effect, I guess. And I did it around the roof, and I thought it looked so cool. So I decided to incorporate it into the rest of the landscaping, because I didn't want it to just be in one spot and just look weird that it's only in this one area. So yeah, I did that. And then what else I did for the landscaping is I ended up using a couple other items from Get to Work. When you spend some time looking at the debug menu, and I guess if you do play live mode, then you do know this already, but because I never play live mode, I'm not really too familiar with it. But if you look in the debug menu, there's actually this tree. It's a plant, obviously, that you can plant. So you plant it, and then when it grows, it becomes this bluish alien flower looking thing, bluish purplish thing. I don't know what they call it, but it looks cool. So I planted a couple of those, and I had my Sims, work on growing them, and I used them around the build. And I tried to keep it, I didn't want it to look like an alien build, and it was getting borderline there for me. So I said, okay, that's enough with the Get to Work stuff. And I ended up just putting a bunch of lavender, which is base game, all around the property. And I just thought it looked so pretty. It was such a nice contrast in between the blue and all the white and everything. To have this purple just really gave a good effect. So the speed build is going to be finishing up soon, and then after the speed build is over will be the cinematic tour. So In a few moments after that's over, you're going to see across the screen is going to be my friend feature for the week. So this week we're featuring Becca Town Sims. In the description box down below is all of the information for her. So definitely go and take a look at her channel. There's a link to one of her favorite videos in there. She's also a part of this wonderful team of simmers called Something Simlish. And they're just an all-around positive influence on the community. Each and every one of the people on that team I've had great experiences with in conversation and just getting to know. And they're super talented, super kind, super helpful. They have an Instagram page, they have a Pinterest, they have all kinds of stuff. And Becca is one of those people that she's just fun, and I just enjoy talking to her. We've had many laughs. She does stream on Twitch. And she's just, you know, she's a good person. I have nothing bad to say about her. And I kind of gravitated towards her right away. I felt very comfortable talking to her about things. And I'm really happy and proud to be able to feature her and to be able to call her my friend. So I asked her to tell me a little bit about her channel, and this is what she had to say. Becca enjoys bringing a mix of goofy humor, chaos, and history to her channel. She likes experimenting with build styles from cyberpunk to elaborate Victorians to fantasy palaces. In her speed builds, she shares tips and tricks about building, discusses architectural styles, and shares a lot of gossip about historical figures in her Spill the Tea on History series. She also does Let's Plays, including a 100 baby challenge and a legacy challenge, in which she tends to focus on letting her Sims live their best lives, chasing baby daddies, and sipping on Simsmopolitans rather than actually completing challenge objectives. So that's what she had to say about her channel. Like I said, all her info is in the description box. Her channel is super entertaining. Just go check her out, guys. It would really mean a lot to me if you do, and show her some support because she really is deserving of it. Like I said, my cinematic tour will be at the end of this video after you see a quick flash on the screen of some of Becca's work. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and let me know what you guys thought of it. I love to hear from you as always. Next week we'll be back with the next installment for the save file. And if you want to see the other builds so far, there is a playlist on my channel for all of them. I believe I linked it in the description box as well. Like I said, all the builds are available on the gallery. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.